Oh, get ready, get ready, get ready. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh, yeah. It's me. It's your boy, the Louisiana Country Boy, coming at you live and camouflage. That's right, live and camouflage from head to toe. From head to toe. I'm camouflage. You say, Country Boy, why you camouflage? I told y'all I got security clearance tonight. The government watching. They say, boy, come on up here. I say, I's coming. And I am here. Yes, indeed. The Louisiana Country Boys here camouflaged up. And I say, welcome to another episode of my worthless 2 cents table talk. Well, your approval is not needed. And look here, I'm going to tell you tonight, it show ain't needed. Because the government watching. Because the government watching. So you better watch it. Watch what you say. Watch what you say. But look here. Before the country boy gets started and close the big old trap, first of all, I want y'all to know I got from around 44. $1.89. Boy, look at here. Ooh, y'all need to go on over there. I'm telling you, happy hour drink it be on, it be good. But look at him. I want to send a few little shout outs before I get started, and then I'm gonna shut my old trap and I'm gonna move on out the way. First and foremost, I got an old friend up in Dallas. I think he up in Dallas, Rodney Village. Rodney and his wife, they celebrating their anniversary. So, old country boy, all the way down here, all country up, want to say happy anniversary to y'all Billipses. Your Billipses, happy anniversary. Next, I want to shout out to my classmate. I got a classmate, Sarah Collingworth. I found out she got the birthday today. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Boo Bear. Now, he the last one. I'm gonna shut my old trap. There's some graduates I want to say congratulations. If they ain't walked the stage yet, they sure getting ready. First one is Tremont Thomas, Narcato. That then Freepo. That also about Freepo. Tremont, hey, congratulations to you. Do your thing. The next one is CC Evans, graduated from Ruston High School. Hey, I think they have their thing tonight. They missed the show. Ooh, missed the show. Sorry. But look here. Congratulations to you. And next one, I want to shout out to old CM boy, fellowship boy. Doing his thing. Zach Bell graduated this past weekend. Langston University. All right. So to each and every one of you, congratulations, 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 congratulations. The world is your oyster bed. Eat up. All right. It's time now. I hope y'all ready. Woo! Because the country boy is ready. I have been sitting on the edge of my seat with my security clearance. I just been waiting. I've been waiting to unfold this thing. Boy, when I knew the government was coming, I couldn't even hold my people. They said, boy, you need to shut up, don't you? Say, what? You know, old country boy, it's hard for him to keep quiet. The government said, boy, be quiet. You can't say nothing. So I shut my old trap up. But tonight, we have a warrior. We have a warrior. We have a warrior that has decided to come and grace the table. And it is my honor. I sat here. It is an honor. It is a privilege. I ain't finna do no introduction. She can go on and do her own thing. I ain't gonna say nothing else. I'm gonna shut my old mouth. But I'm gonna tell y'all, it is an honor. It is a privilege to have her here tonight. And she's finna do her thing. See, boy, y'all's gonna eat tonight. Y'all gonna eat the government meal tonight. Woohoo! Y'all finna eat the government meal. So look, without further ado, I said that last night, that's my new word. Without further ado, sit back, relax, put on your headgear. Oh, warrior, 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 woman. Put something in their ear. Do your thing. Yeah.
I just love the introduction. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Well,
I am
thank
blessed.
you
Blessed.
so much. Yes, yes. Thank you for having me. This feels good. This feels good. To be on here feels good.
I'm so glad that you're here. It is such an honor. It is such a privilege to have you here. And as you know, this table talk, but it's your show. It's your show. Um, it is whatever you feel that's on your heart, whatever you want to share. Oh, country boy, I'm gonna sit over here and I'm gonna nod my head. I'm gonna wipe some tears. I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna do what I do. But it's your platform, and I. Ooh, I can't even say much. You
Okay.
just don't know how excited I am.
Well, that is so good. It's been a crazy week because, gosh, we had a lot going on in the country this week. Things in New York
Mm,
and things I'm doing in California. Then we've got stuff on in the Ukraine. So for me, you know, I have this military side of me, this patriot side of me, right? Very much engaged, looking at what's happening, what all that means, and then there's my birthright, my side of me, the African
right,
American woman, and sometimes kind of I'm always a patriot, but sometimes it can be troubling to me sometimes, because no one was prouder than me to wear the uniform.
right,
But at the same time, in our backyard, and I'm in Washington, D.C., we're dealing with what continues to happen. It's just that this one made the news, right? This one got the news attention that we have to deal with. And it's hurtful. It's so hurtful. One side of my brain is watching what happens here in Ukraine. The other side is in my backyard, you know.
right,
And, believe that things are getting better and that you see progress, but there's moments like this and you wonder, really? Are they
right.
really? You know? And I tell you, I remember, gosh, this is going to be one of those situations where, where were you when when such and such happened?
Right, right,
January 6th. January 6th, I was in my office and I could see the Capitol, just oblivious to everything going on,
mm,
just oblivious, yeah, and wondering why we were getting messages to go home, you know. And so it just really makes you think, where are we going, and what are we doing for
right,
ourselves to to
mm,
to gird ourselves? What are we telling our children? What are we
right,
instructing them to do? How do we position ourselves? And it all comes back to one thing, like my parents always talked about, you know, it all starts for us to advance and to do better. It will never be perfect.
right.
We make sure our young people understand education. You have got to grab every opportunity that you can
Yes,
to educate yourself. You know, it all starts there. That's how you
yes,
empower yourself. How nobody can ever take that away from you. Uh, in any venue, whether it's certification, trade school, whatever, you've got to keep going. You've got to keep developing your mind. You
right.
know, uh, and those are where ideas and solutions and everything they come from. But we have no time to be stagnant.
Mm,
We never have.
right,
We have no time to think, okay, we're good. We have no time for that. And we just can't rest on 2008, but we had our president in office, our first African American president. We can't rest on that. We have to keep going,
right.
you know. And it concerns me a lot, Donnie. It concerns me a lot. I don't know if the messages that some of our young people are getting, some of the messages are that, you know, some things you don't need to do. Now, granted, it may not be necessary, but is it best not to do it? I remember my father saying, you know, you think education is expensive, try ignorance. You
Wow.
know, try ignorance.
Wow. Wow.
And I was, you know, and all education isn't formal or how you see it to be, but strive for something, to do something, and for yourself, for posterity, for generations past who prayed for you, who stood in the gap for you.
Yes.
You know, and it's blessings abound. They're all around us. We just have to make the leap and go get it.
Right.
You know, and I know they're challenging. I know that, but we got to try. And my concern is for young people, the young people. You know, there see so many images and things, and they may not be rooted in reality.
Right.
They see of lifestyle. They see this, they see that, and it's just a flash in the pan.
Yes.
And it may take that to be, well, I don't have to do all these other things. I'll just go get it. You know? So that when I think about the last week, as you get older, those things weigh heavier on you.
Yes.
You know, the events of this past, you know. So yeah, that's what's been on my mind. And unfortunately, the thing about it, I'm watching the news and I don't want to watch it, but I need to watch it because I need to know.
Right.
You know.
Right. It's tough, you know, and you know, I agree with what you're saying. For me, you know, it goes back to that thing, foundation. Where's the foundation? You know, and you're right. Everything in this world can draw you to different things, but if you have a solid foundation,
yes,
I don't care if the walls be rocked, you got that foundation. And what has happened is there's no foundation. That's my opinion. I ain't saying I'm right or wrong, but that's no country opinion that there is no foundation. So now everything has been built on quicksand. So when the walls rock, the whole thing fall in. And somehow, some way,
everything goes.
We got to, and it's never, in my opinion, it's never too late to build a foundation. Start where you are.
Never.
Use what you have.
Yeah, it is never too late. It's never too late. All I think about when growing up in Grambling, I don't remember a time being placed on when learning would cease or when you would stop, because we never saw anybody stopping.
Right.
It was always, and a lot of times when I try to describe growing up there, I'm at a loss for words. When people talk about where and how they were raised, I'm almost, Donnie, sometimes I'm almost fearful because I said they wouldn't believe me if I told them. Think I'm making this up. This can't be real. Oh, it was very, very, very real. It was very real. And I just always remember the trajectory for expectation was always climbing.
Yes.
And climbing. And the foundation was so solid. So solid. If there is ever a childhood utopia, I don't think you, other than the people in Mayberry, I can't.
You're gonna leave my Mayberry alone now.
And they didn't have the gift of a Grambling state in your backyard.
Right.
You know. So, and then another thing that I realized as I got older, and again, and this is another thing from a Dr. Carterism, a daddyism, is that college doesn't teach you. Yeah, you get subjects, you get courses, you get curriculum, but furthering any education, whether it be trade school or whatever, it teaches you how to think strategically.
Yes.
How to take information, pick it apart, and then you decide for yourself.
Right.
In other words, people just can't hand you a information.
Right.
And there are all kinds but it teaches you to trust yourself, and it teaches you how to think strategically,
Right.
and you may not always have the answer, but it teaches you to question.
Right.
It will teach. And then I remember saying, well, why would I get educated? It makes me ask more questions. But that's
the point.
Yeah, he said, you're not going to know anything.
Right.
You're going to know your subjects and everything. You're going to open your eyes. Just like, say, if you're a mechanic and you go get further certifications in there, then you know what questions to ask when problems arise. You know more than you did before you got these certifications, these master certifications and things like that.
Right.
So, and when people look at what going further means, it's not just to take information and stick it in your head, it's to synthesize it so you can apply it. Your judgment is based on that, And so the last week, and something interesting happened. I don't know if you saw this, Donnie, but in Congress this week, they've been having hearings on UFOs. Right?
What?
Finally.
Wow.
And I was in uniform 28 years. I said, how long I got to go not talking about this? I have to let people when they talk about, they think they saw a UFO. And I'm like,
wow. Oh, my.
In my mind, I'm like, Congress today, they've got Navy pilots, everything. Finally, since they declassified all of that, talking about and showing footage. That thing, if you're in a F-18 or what else the Navy may fly, no, they're F-35s, and that thing outran you, then something happened.
Right. Yes, indeed.
Something happens. Yeah. So it's so interesting. I remember my first year when I went to the Air Force, they gave me a book. And the book was, my job as a second lieutenant, I went in as a public affairs officer, was to field calls from people who saw weird things. Okay. So
I wish I'd have known that. I'd have been calling back then.
We had repeat callers. And back then, because we were also kind of, that doesn't happen. We're good, there are going to be some repeat calls. And you had a logbook. And I remember having somewhat of a script to say, that was an A-10 Warthog with his Gatling guns firing, ma'am.
Wow.
Check.
Wow.
Or that's a balloon, sir.
Oh my.
It was And I was one for years up until when they just declassified this. I was like, gosh, how long do I have to stay? Do I have to sit on this the rest of my life or what?
Wow. Wow. Oh my.
So
That
yeah,
is,
but yeah, it's been an interesting ride,
hey,
to say the least.
you know, I can just, with everything that you have seen and everything, from coming from back home. I'm gonna say back home, from back home to going and exploring the world. The things that you've seen, the
Mhm.
things that others couldn't even imagine. That's why I think when I
Mhm.
heard that song Warrior, how it just fits so perfect in everything. But you
Oh
still,
wow.
even that, still maintaining the connection and the closeness. And that's, in my eyes, in my opinion, that's
Oh,
rare for
absolutely.
a lot of people. That's very rare, because a lot of times what we do is we go from here, then we disconnect every time. But you stayed connected, and you stayed true. You stayed true,
Mhm.
and that is a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing.
Well, you know what? I can't imagine my life without a strong connection to Grambling, Louisiana, Lincoln Parish, or Grambling State University, or Graham fam. I simply cannot. That's one of the greatest gifts of my life, other than, the amazing parents and the children, my children and grandchildren, that's where you wanted me to be raised, that God, that's where you put me. Wow, you must
Right,
have loved me.
right,
My, you must really, really love me.
right.
And I simply, there has not been a day, a month, a year, a career, a position that Graham 71245 Grambling or Grambling State not go with me.
Right.
It girded me. It supported me. It was so much poured into me with love and community, the church, just everything that was put into me. I cannot imagine my life without that connection. It
Yeah,
simply does not work for me. It
right.
just doesn't, you know. And if you know me, you know where I'm from. If I've met you, if I've been on Capitol Hill and you've met me, the next thing out my mouth will be, I was born in Ramlin, Louisiana. And sometimes, well, where is that? Is that near New Orleans? Everything is Orleans.
Just cause in Louisiana don't mean it's
We
nothing
have
New
a
Orleans. I know, I get same thing. No, no, it's the other direction.
right,
Okay, it's closer to God because it's up north. But
yeah,
yes,
but no, everywhere I've gone, even if I've gone to, graduate school or law school, I'm walking through everybody else's campus with that's behind me, with my Grambling stuff on, you know.
yes, yes, yes.
So you might have that's cool, eventually buy something from there, but that is so much. Like I was telling my sister, clearly it's in our DNA at this point.
Yes,
It, it,
yes,
it clearly is in our DNA. So it meant so much. It taught so much. It was so nurturing and encouraging. And I used to tell my parents, the only thing I remember telling them, I wish you had told me that the world could be cruel.
mm,
I did not. I did not know that although we were exposed to different things,
right,
when it was so influence around us, and when you go out into the world, It's like, okay, where is that? You know,
Yes.
and I remember them. I wish you had told me that. But they had their reasons. They said no, we needed the fire in you. Um, we we didn't want you to be discouraged. We wanted you had plenty of time, the rest of your life, to understand what the world was like.
Yeah.
But these first 21 2 years, you know, we were going to give you heaven on earth, you know, and show you the ancestors' dream,
Right.
in a community where everybody, the majority of people looked like you. And
Right.
even if they didn't, we were welcoming. So um, but everywhere I've gone, I've taken
And when I'm
Grambling.
sitting here and I'm
Yeah.
thinking one thing, it is true. The motto, where everybody is somebody. And that just hit my mind, but it is just that, where everybody is somebody. Me personally, it growing up there and the environment and everything that surrounded. Where else can you grow up and go to high school and look right across there to the college? No, it was just that, and be around the people, that you look at now and these legends, and it's like, oh my Lord, that was greatness, and here oh, wow, and to
What?
walk the halls with greatness, it was all around. I mean,
Yes.
where else in the world? I mean, we had our own Mayberry. Okay, I'm sorry for y'all that didn't come from Mayberry. We came from Mayberry.
You know, and I don't know. I live in Tuskegee, Alabama, but I'm imagining that might be the similar, but they're a little larger, but
Right.
during that time, but I can't. In case in point, just 3 weeks ago, I was home in Graham, and I was telling a colleague this story, and his eyes were just like, "That can't be possible." I told him a story. I said, I went to nursery school on a college campus, and my dad took me to nursery school. I guess mom was like, "There's no way I can drop my child off on her first day at nursery school." So daddy took me. And the nursery school was where Foster Johnson Health Center, in
Hmm.
it right there over there. And the first face I saw was Dwight Moore from Grambling when I went to nursery school. And I cried, and he was looking at me. We're 3 years old, like, what you crying for? It really isn't that. And I begged my daddy to take me home. He put in the car, he took me home. I realized they looked like they were having some kind of fun. And he turned around at the center, took me back. Dwight was still standing there. That was my first school friend.
Wow.
Fast forward 57 years, 3 weeks ago, I'm home in Grambling, Dwight's home. He's like, "All right, girl, I'm gonna come pick you up. Let's go get our chicken wings." That through college.
Wow.
And Terry jumped in the car. Let's go by and see Marvin McCarty. Let's go by. I'm calling Gwen Arsenault. And it never ceased. It just
Right.
never ceased. And I remember the gentleman telling said, "You still have friends from when you were 3?" And I wanted to say, "You don't."
Right. Right.
But it became common for us.
Yes.
It's so common for us. And I said, "I have a friend that I met the day I was born." He said, "How could that be?" I said, "Because when my mom was in Ruston having me, she was next door to my mom having him." That would be
Wow.
Cleveland Giles.
Wow.
Yeah. Lincoln General.
Wow.
So
Wow.
our bassinets were next to each other. And so, it's just it's been it's just been such a blessing, and not just for me. And though my children were not raised in Grambling, they will tell you they were because they spent so much time
Right,
there.
right.
They practically there all the time. So it's just been amazing, and I love when I run into people here. You know, uh, one day, literally, I was in the Pentagon in uniform, and when somebody says your government name, you know that you were.
You know,
I heard
yes.
Chris, and I said, "Wait a minute now," and it turned out to be a classmate from Air Force ROTC in college. That was
Oh
30 years
wow,
ago.
wow, wow.
30, 30 years ago. So it's been amazing. It really has. So I get it. We were just blessed, Donnie, in that regard. We were just blessed.
Yeah, I mean, you're so right. It is,
We had
and I somehow you wished in being here. I mean, two things. I'm gonna tell you this first. Sometimes when I be driving out here in Texas, I see somebody with a grand license plate, Lord, I be trying to chase them down. I hope they don't be like, why is he following me? Because I'm trying to see who you is up in that car. You got that family plate on. I'm trying to see who that is. You know. But the other thing is being here in the city, you kind of and you see and you be like, man, if y'all could only have a portion of is this gone? Is that element of that life gone? Because it's like, wow,
wow,
and the
wow.
thing is, how do you get it back? How do you instill it into the next generation? And you did with your kids, you instill, but how do we continue to instill that? Because that thing is so important. Well, I think it's important, but nobody else might not. I think it's important to be able to instill the value, to be able to instill that
Mm-hmm.
foundation, to be able to make children know, look, you can honestly be anything you want to. It-
Anything.
but that,
I think it's I think some what I think, like, from I can see in my mom and dad um thought process, they were always hopeful.
yeah,
They were always hopeful for me and my sister and my first cousins that they raised for a short time. They were always hopeful. The sun was always going to shine.
mm,
And I remember thinking, because our parents were never, well, you have to be this or you have to be that. They never verbalized it, but you knew there was an expectation for you to be the best that you could be.
yes,
And I remember thinking one day I must have been a freshman in college. And I remember my dad saying, every generation should kick it up a notch, kick it up a notch, or keep, or, you know, keep the family going, be the best you can be.
right.
And I were thinking, well, hey, you know, how am I going to do that? What am I expected to? What, be an astronaut or something? you know, that. But that was I with them. There were no constraints on the definition of what they could be. That could have meant I'll be the most incredible mother to my children
Yes,
that I could
yes,
be. That that I'd be the best representation of what mom, a
hmm,
woman of color, or whatever I can be to my children. It doesn't mean degrees, money, all of that, but I'd be the best person that I can be.
yeah,
And so, but at the time in my mind, I'm thinking, well, now how's this gonna work? Okay, when I was born, and I'll tell my year, 1964, you know, my daddy already had his PhD. Now, what am I supposed to do? How do you expect me to do better than that? What am I supposed to be doing? But that's not what he was saying. That's not what they were saying.
Right.
Remember my mother saying, my father saying to us, be the person that doesn't embarrass your community, doesn't embarrass your God, and, you know, or your significant other and children.
Right.
And when you think, that's a tall order. It's easier than people think. It seems like it is a tall order because we don't see it as much as we used to.
Right.
But and a lot of times it's simplifying your life. It's looking at what's important and paying attention and feeding that is important. You know, forget all this social media stuff you see, all that kind of things. Be an asset to your community. Show your children the kind of individual they need to be.
Yes.
You know, carry yourself with dignity and pride. You know, when you open your mouth, people shouldn't be hesitant to wonder, oh my God, what's going to be said? You know, have, you know, when you walk out your door, you know, it should just be you're the best version of you that you can be. And along the way, when we talk about that foundation, we've gotten a little bit too much into, I'm just going to let them. My mom and dad weren't going to just let me be me.
Right.
there were consequences.
Right.
You know, there was a direction they were, you know, pushing us and having us go.
Right.
You know, it wasn't that, well, she's just expressing herself. There's a way to do that.
Right.
There's a way to do that. So that just, at least in our household, it just didn't fly. You know, we want you to express yourself, but there is a way to express yourself.
Yes.
There's a time and a place, and there's a manner. And then when you think about expressing yourself, what you think about, that expression comes from a foundation of values. So whatever your values are, you're going to see it on social media. It's going to come out of your mouth.
Yes.
When you walk out your door, people are going to assess what they think. It may not be the case. Think your values are.
Right.
But that's where that foundation, because everything grows out of that foundation.
Yes.
And I wasn't a parent that I continually talk to my children. Now they're in their 30s, but there's some things you say we can talk about, and then there's a different way of expressing it or seeing it when you're out.
Right.
You know, and so I think that's because there were times my mother was like, "Oh, you're not going to wear that. You're not going to say that." If social media were available in the 70s and 80s, I wouldn't have had it. There was no, I would have had it.
Right.
I would have had it. And people are confused now they're confused with the phrase, I'm going to say what's on my mind.
Right.
I offer to them what's in your mind. What of value is in your head? What have you filled your mind with? And again, the foundation of all kinds of knowledge, it comes out in what you do, how you present yourself, how you raise your children, how you interact in your community, at your job. So, okay, say they only got there are two pieces to that. Not just I'm going to say what's on my mind, but what is it in my mind that's important for me to say,
Right.
and
Right.
that might need to be assessed before. So,
That's so true.
and I think that's what peace is. A lot of time was spent with us developing our minds, giving us the foundation to show and understand things that were important.
Right.
A study of generations past had worked hard for, had died for, had accomplished on our, for us. So in our thinking process, that was always, the software was always running.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, will that embarrass? Oh, now what would so? Okay, I can speak my mind, but what am I speaking about? How does this make sense? How does this further generation? How does this make things better? Because as my parents used to say, talking just for the sake of talking is talking.
Right. Right. Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know,
That is
yeah,
so
yeah.
true.
So
And
it's a matter of the software they put in us. The software is, and don't get me wrong, I've met phenomenal young people around this city, and there are phenomenal young people coming out of Grambling State University every day. They're there, but we have to be careful the software we're putting into those who are looking at us. You
right.
know, yeah, because the basis of thought, speech, action, endeavor, all of that is coming from a software.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're looking at something going, I need to say, well, what is the software? Or look at guardian, parent. What kind of software did you put in there?
Right.
You know,
Right.
sometimes you can put the best software in the world, and there are sometimes we are responsible.
Yes.
We are responsible. Yeah.
And that's so
So
true. And that's one of the things I learned
that's
is
just that.
yeah,
Explain.
I taking responsibility, and accountability for the things. I spend a lot of time with that. Is what you just said. Is this going to embarrass my family? Is this going to embarrass? I didn't want to. Yeah, I might be a little bit wild, but I figured it was going to be okay. I wasn't that wild where I was just going. But yes, but you do everything within parameters. You just don't but now, so many times instead of I'm gonna flip over here, it might piss somebody off, but that's okay. But instead of us raising children, we have allowed everything else to raise. And then after what you just said, after something and someone else has put everything in, then we want to sit there and be like, well, why you like that?
Mhm.
Well, you had the
Yeah.
opportunity to input something. Where were you? Where were you?
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, Donnie, I don't envy any parent today with round social media, phones, round the clock TV, all these crazy images,
Right.
you, and all of these. But think about it. I think about, is it really every generation thinks it's the most innovative?
Mm.
I'm sure somewhere my grandmother thinking, oh Lord, these cars are going to make these teenagers go crazy. You know, experiences and innovation and science and discovery and everything is new. They go through
Right.
it. I'm sure when the Model T came out, they probably thought all their teens were going to
Right.
heck. you
True.
know, but I I uh, I have a almost 3-year-old grandson, and it's a matter of steering his attention. I just
Yes.
had him for a month, and I could have a TV on, or I could sit down with him and I can talk to him.
Right.
You know, he can learn hear some letters and we can talk and we can
Yes.
do other things. We're slave to this technology. We can choose it or not choose it.
Right.
Let's go for a walk. We pick leaves. Let's pick some leaves and put them in the bag.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's a relationship. It's learning different things, and it's being engaged. And
That's
you
it.
say words sometimes, but they get a message.
Right.
They get a message, and it's just it's the software. It's just the software, and I'm sure, as my parents would say, you know, back in the 40s, you know, they probably had, you know, my mom said she had friends she wasn't allowed to be with because of that. Well, they didn't
Right.
have social media, but whatever the ill was of the day, of the
Right.
decade,
Right.
you know, that was it. But my grandmother, her mother chose things differently for her, you know, and chose a different path and wanted to show her a way to express herself.
Right.
And that way, and no mistake. I understand this thing, express yourself, but you're still in a society where how you do it counts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can either work for you or not. Let's deal
Right.
with the realities of where we're in. Look at what happened. Okay. We are still judged and assessed by a lot of things other people may not be judged and assessed, you know,
Right.
assessed by. So, and it may be another lifetime or never. I won't see it in my lifetime, and I pray to God I have a long lifetime. But things get better, but some things have stayed the same.
Right.
So it matters. It matters on your trajectory in life. To it matters to your, you know, advancement in your profession.
Yes.
It matters down to what kind of mate you end up with. It matters, and that's
Right.
just about. And those are things. It matters. Uh, and I know there's kids. Well, I don't, you know, or young people, even older people I run into. Well, I just don't care. Well, just think about how's that working for you. Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, how's no, I'm not saying be inauthentic,
Right.
but be smart.
Yes.
You know, be smart about it. Don't confirm what some people think. Don't
Yes.
confirm what they think.
And some people just,
Don't do that.
some people are set on what's crazy is some people are set on confirming what folks think. I'm gonna just well, they thinking anyway, I'm gonna just
Exactly.
go and I'm like, well,
How's
that's
that
what you
working
think
for
about
you?
me anyway, so I'm gonna go on and do it.
Because, you know, exactly. It's like, is that really what you want? Is it getting what you want? And every now and then, you know, I like my watching my Dr. Phil sometimes. He said something. I'm hard ended her show, but he said no one does anything unless it works for them.
Mm.
And I thought about it. Now, if your position is that's what they think about me anyway, could it be that you just don't think you can do anything else and this works for you?
Mm.
Do you? Because
Mm.
if you everything you do it if you repeatedly do the same thing, it's working for you.
Right.
It's
Right.
working for you. Either it's a shield
Mm.
or a sword.
Right. Right. Okay.
So I'd rather be a sword.
Right.
I want to slap.
Yes.
I want to slay. I want to accomplish. I believe with all my heart you can do anything that you set your mind to.
Yes.
There's never been a day in my life when my father looked in the eye and said that to me that I ever, even on my worst day, say that's not true. It may be, there may be more challenges,
Right.
setbacks, obstacles,
Yes.
but I know that to be true and I believe that. Um, and I think a lot of times, sometimes we don't, or we've made the mistake as guardians or parents by saying, yeah, but don't do the but.
Right.
Don't do the but. Don't do the but. Maybe yes, and this is the way we're going to have to go about it. And it may not be in the
Right.
time frame that you want it to be, but this is the way that we go about it. Because nowhere in from the my years in that town did I ever hear or was I ever told you could not be or you
Mhm.
could not do.
Right.
I
Right.
never heard that. Never heard it. And we lived amongst walking examples,
Exactly. So
you
true.
know.
So true. For me, it was, and I said this. I think I was talking to Dolly. It was that thing of not wanting to disappoint. It was that thing of I got to, you know, I might be. You gonna go out there and be the best it that it is. If you gonna be the clown, you better own the dadgum circus.
That
Let me tell you. But and it's instilling that is if you
oldness.
gonna do it, you gonna do it. Do it. I'm telling you. Because for me, that's how it was, and that's how I am now. Um, and I try to push that forward. And that's the part of me I try to pay forward is you can do it. I believe in you. If don't nobody else believe in you, I can believe in you. And that's what I try to tell people and instill that in people. And people have to, if we did that for each other, oh Lord, if we did that for each
Oh,
other,
how
how
amazing
amazing.
would that be? I have I have found myself trying to convince some young people that anything's possible, and I'm wondering where along the line did you not never believe or stop believing?
Yes.
You know, um, and then I thought about it. I said, "Well, my goodness, now if I were, if anybody had any reason to doubt, been my parents born in 1925."
Right.
you know, but I find myself talking to young people like, come on, let's go, let's roll, do
Right.
this. And the enthusiasm isn't there
Mm.
sometimes, or as as Dolly said, there is no expectation
Right.
from anyone that they will do it. And when
That's
you have an expectation on you, you do not want to. One thing we didn't want to do in Graham is disappoint anybody.
right.
We did not want to
Nobody.
do it. No,
Yep.
nobody. And I'm going to make you roll laughing because one time, uh, uh, oh, I don't know how old. I had to have been maybe 14. And my daddy had never spanked me, right? He could give me a look, which was worse. And one day, and he looked at me and he said, Kris Lana, I'm disappointed.
mm.
Donnie, I think I was in a sick bed for 3 days. I'm that I it broke
Yeah.
my heart. I said, no, will he look at me and say that again.
Right.
Because the expectation was there and I respected them so much
Right.
that
Right.
that was just awful. Absolutely awful to say to me. I'm like, I'd rather, can you just get the belt?
Yes,
It-
yes, yes. Yes. That
you
is
know?
so that is so it. You know, Chris, when you say that,
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you, I got one of them stories like that. My oldest, I can't remember, something had happened with her at school, and her mom had called me, and I went over and we had a conversation. I'm not the whooping type. That's just me. I don't, And I said the same thing. And basically that's what I said. You know, I said, I'm just disappointed. And still to this day, she reminds me of
Ooh.
the conversation. And she said the same thing. Yeah, man, you should have just whooped me. Just, you know, but
You
it's
should,
when you
yes.
instill that I believe in you. And it's like,
I
when somebody
believe
look
you.
at you and they just go, "Now you gonna come over here and
Oh,
beat me?
that's,
Okay,
I couldn't.
you're not finna sit there and
I,
shake your head and no, you're not finna. You finna come hit me, whoop me, because I know. Let me go out here and get a stick or something, because just don't sit there and go.
let's get it over with. But that,
Last a long
and I
time.
never had to see, yes, first
Yeah,
and last time I ever saw that face. I, no, sir. No, sir.
yeah. I mean,
No,
and
sir.
when we can
So,
instill that in kids again, just that is that what you just said is that somebody believes in you. The worst part
mhm.
for me to think for people growing up today is to not have the one thing that you said before is hope in anything.
Oh,
How can you
oh,
live without hoping?
absolutely. I
Woo,
know. You do that.
man,
How do you
that
do
that's
that?
how
And I
you
had a young
yeah. I mean, how do
told
you
me
go
that,
on day for day? Just I don't hope for nothing better. Like I can just this right here is it. Like you don't.
no, I can't. I can't. And mm-mm, there's always hope. There's always hope, you know?
Always hope.
And I expect great things out of young people. And I might be the first person to expect those things out of them. But
Yeah.
I do, because it's possible. And it's probable
Yes.
with the right
Yes.
software.
Most
Mhm.
definitely, most definitely, and I think that we just
Yeah.
have to, each and every one of us, again, has to start instilling in them and believing in them. And what you say, like you looking at the young people you were and go like, wow, so nobody ever. Hmm, well, guess what? We're gonna start now. We're gonna start right
Mhm.
here, use what we got, and we're gonna move forward with it. Because from here on out, I'm gonna pour it in you. And that's what we have to do and understand. A lot of people came from where they don't have it, or nobody believed in them, or that they could. Um, because if in my thinking, when you don't believe in yourself and nobody else believes in you, man, that's got to be tough. That's got to be that's got to be the
Exactly.
hardest life.
Exactly. I
But we
can't
can change it.
imagine.
Yeah.
I, it's, I can't imagine. Wow. And that breaks my heart because, I can't tell you how many kids I've packed in the car and I've taken them to GSU and got them there, and I've witnessed graduations, and they never thought they would get there.
Right.
And I was, like, they had parents tell me, well, I didn't think that was going to happen. Well, if you didn't think so, neither did he or she,
How could they? How
you
could
know?
they?
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
and that thing is that I sit here and this thing that hits my mind. If the people that are in the house with you can't see a brighter day, The people that you're closest to, that's in your circle, they can't see anything outside of that. What are they instilling in you inside of them? And and how, and then you get out, and no matter how much somebody tells you, how long does it take for you to even just remotely start to believe in it? Because for so long you have been surrounded by this thing of just settle. It is what it is.
Just settle. Just sit and settle. And this is what it's going to be because it was this way for them and but them before them and them before them. And I just encourage kids, dig deep. Just dig deep. There's a pilot light on somewhere in there.
Come on. It may be just, but it's down.
Something in your wildest dreams. Just spit it out. Let me hear it. I don't care if a young lady says, I want to be a rocket scientist. Okay, well, let's get some pencil and paper and let's see how we're going to make this happen.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Not crazy. Let's go. How are we going to do this? Let's chart a path. Let's make it happen. I pray a lot for some of our young people. I like working with them. I like putting my hands, getting in there with them and exploring possibilities. If I'm asked, how did such and such happen for you? I take time. I talk about it, and I don't just talk about it. I offer help.
Yes.
We need to do. Our responsibility is to get in there and do some work.
Yes.
Where that is, I don't know how do I fill out this application? Well, come to the house. We're going to figure this out.
Right.
Okay. Or there a documentary I want you to watch. Come to the house. Let's look at this. Let's see what this is about. Or I want to take you to this banquet. I want you to meet some people. I know so-and-so that actually works in the field that you want to work in. Let's go to lunch. I'll take you to lunch to meet them. There's some work we need to do too.
Yes. Yes.
To get in there. And I know you're old, tired after work and everything. But if we don't do that, the software that they're around more than they are with us,
Yes, indeed.
So that takes some work on our part. And because when you think about it, that's what they were doing to us. They were putting in the work.
Yes.
They were putting in some work with us, So that's what we have to do.
Most
that's what we have to do.
I totally agree. And for me,
a lot of joy.
It's well worth it. The payoff. Whoa, Lord. I think the payoff. And Lord, even if I don't get to see it, I just know. I know that it's gonna be well worth it. Our future depends on it. Our future depends on it. And it is so important for generations and generations and generations to come that we have to. It is imperative that we do it. That's how I feel. That's me. I'm gonna work my butt off until he suck all the breath out of me. I'm gonna keep on running this old trap. Until he say, I'm gonna keep running this trapper and I'm gonna keep on drinking my Route 44. I'm gonna keep on doing it. I'm gonna keep it. Yes, indeed. So
indeed. Same here.
But look, Kris, we are at that rocket hour. But what I'm gonna do, like I always do, I'm gonna sit back again. I done took up. I should have shut up. It's supposed to be your show. Here I am running my mouth. I'm supposed to be quiet over here. Shut up. That Louisiana big mouth. I don't know what I'm gonna do about it. But look, I want you to take these last minutes, whatever, 10, 5, 2, it don't matter, whatever, because it's your show. You know, it's the military show. You know, it's government show. I'm sorry, it's the government show. So you just take this time, whatever you want to express, whatever's on your heart, whatever you want to put out there, whatever you want your words to be here, let them have it. Do your thing, man.
I probably would say to anybody, not just young people, because it could be people in our, in our season who think that it's too hard, it's too late. I just walked in New York. I think it was saw a grandmother finally walk across a stage. It is never. She was 74. It is never too late. And here's another thing we tend to forget: the it's not all the joy doesn't come at the destination. It's the journey. It's the journey. I have met along the way amazing people, had amazing experience, funniest moment. It's been so the destination is great, but don't forget the journey is just as important as that's where all the experience and insight comes from.
Yes.
Yes. So get out there and start a journey. Start it. It doesn't matter how fast you get there. Just keep going.
Yes.
And that's my message.
I love it. You know, wow, you say that. I've got this thing that I say, Kris, is that we're all on this journey together. However, we each have our own individual story. And if there's something about your story that can help me on my journey, and there's something about mine that I pray can help you on yours, and if we each take that, yes, we on this journey. Lord, we own it. But we own it together. We own it together. And let's just embrace that. Man, you go that destination, you get there, but embrace everything along the way. Smell them flowers.
That's it.
Look at that grass grow.
Smell the flowers, pick up a rock, throw a rock, keep going, pick a leaf off a tree.
Yes.
Run into people along the way. Yeah, it's a journey.
The most valuable thing on that. Every second of that journey is beautiful. It is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. Kris, I appreciate it. Lord knows, I sit here and I thank the Lord for allowing this moment, for this platform, to sit here across from you. It is such an honor for you to take out this time. Come here and feed us. Oh, country boy, feel good. Follow him. This old thing right here, girl. Pretty soon they're gonna have to get me on wheelchair to roll me up out of here. I don't mean it ain't so much. Cause boy, it be some good eating here at the table. I'm telling you. See, y'all didn't think the government was gonna feed you, did you? See that? Y'all did. You got fed by the government. That's some good government eating right there. And guess what? You can't get government eating everywhere. You can't. It's only in specific places you get good government eating. And there's only one restaurant that's got good government eating. That's right here at the table. But Kris, I appreciate it so very much. It has been an honor. It has been a privilege. Thank you so much for coming and gracing and feeding us all. And I will tell you this to everybody that views this thing, there she is. Wait a minute, Kris, you need to introduce yourself. Them folks, I mean, 99%, the 99% of them know you. You need get. Wait a minute, before I shut up, I'm gonna shut up. But she got to even introduce herself. You can't just come on here and I know we family and all, but you got to tell the other folks.
Okay. My name is Lana Carter. I'm from Grambling, Louisiana, born and raised. Grambling Nursery School through Grambling State University. And my father tricked me when I was in college. And for those of you who don't know, my father was provost at Grambling and vice president of academic affairs. And I did not want to take physical education. And I walked his office mad and I said, I am not taking PE with a swim class full of Grambling football players. There has to be another alternative. He said, well, the only thing you can do is go over there to Air Force ROTC. Wow. And if that's true or not to this day. 30. I'm retired lieutenant colonel, so
he got you.
And so I served form as a judge advocate general, or a JAG, which is a military attorney, and it was a fantastic ride. I retired in 2020 on a Friday, went back to work with the federal government on Monday, basically doing the same thing that I was doing. I went back to work in the Department of Defense, the headquarters Air Force. And so right now, my gig is I work, let me see how to break this down without using too much jargon. I do fighters and advanced aircraft. How about that? That's my field. That's what. So if it flies fast and low, and that kind of thing, that's so. So the portfolio is A-10s, F-16, F-22, F-35, A-29, A-26, Skyborg, Armed Overwatch, Next Generation Air Dominance. That's my umbrella. So, and I'm here in Washington, D.C.
Hey, Kris. Hey, can I fly one of them old things? I got my driver's license. I get on that. I mean,
you need a CDL.
Oh well. Ain't gonna worry about that now. You seen the.
You need a CDL.
Yeah. No, look, I don't need to get one of them. Then we all right, because I seen the price of gas. I don't need no CDL. I'm good.
And just young, the young ladies who look like me are wondering, I work with rocket scientists that look like me. They do exist, and you can do it too.
There you go. There you go. Y'all heard it.
That's it.
We can all. You can do it. You can do it. You heard the message, and just know there's nothing that you can't accomplish. Anything you want to accomplish in this world, you can. And if y'all don't believe me, y'all can believe the United States government, because they just told you right there that you can do anything. So you ain't even got to listen to the old country. Old country, but don't know what he talking about. Yeah, okay, he don't. Okay, well, the United States government just said you can do anything that you want to.
You can do it.
And that's straight out of Grambling.
Yes, you can. That's right.
Well, Kris, I thank you so very much. I do. I greatly appreciate it. It has been a privilege again. It has been a privilege. Y'all go follow Kris. You know, she might be on that old Facebook thing, and y'all go, you know, she might put some old pictures up there. Y'all go live and be like, "Hi, Kris. We seen you, good man. We seen you. Hi." You know, y'all go and thank you for what you do. It is for us, for the country. Thank you for what you do for the young people. Thank you for what you did for this old world here. I greatly appreciate it. To each and every one of y'all, man, I thank y'all for tuning in, giving this old boy a chance to come on here again. Told y'all have to look at my ugly mug. See, y'all look at us. See, that's 2 nights in a row. Y'all ain't got to look at me. Just close one eye. You ain't got to look at me. Just look at the other side over there. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I really do. It is uplifting. It is encouraging. Please go support the guests, man. Support them. Show them some love, because they didn't have to come here and sow these seeds of hope, of encouragement, of uplifting, but they did. Because guess what? That's what's in their heart, and I love them for that. And as I say, before I get out of here, I love each and every one of you unconditionally. and there ain't nothing you can do about it. Kris, y'all have a good one now. Thank you, Kris.
Yes.
It's been so much fun, fam. I love you, girl. Have a good one.